welcome to the Automation Agency's Client Spotlight interview series. My name is Jason Benedict. I'm one of the co-founders of the Automation Agency. Today, we're interviewing leading financial expert Brandon Clark, owner of Thrive Wealth Solutions. In this interview, we're going to be talking about Black entrepreneurship, investment strategies, small business, marketing automation, and how Brandon is helping people from all walks of life with his patent-pending flip investment method. So Brandon, welcome. Let's dive right into the deep end and have you explain what the flip method is and why people should consider investing in this strategy.
All right, well, thanks for the introduction, Jason. Man, I'm happy to share that information with you. Man, the simplest way I could put the flip method is imagine you had this credit card, and this credit card paid you an average of 3% cash back on every single thing that you purchased for the rest of your life, right? That's what the flip method is. Basically, what we do is we take a life insurance policy, not something that a lot of people are, let's say, familiar with in terms of using a strategy like this. But to keep it simple, all we do is we take a life insurance policy and we structure it in a way that allows you to be able to use your cash as collateral and borrow against your own money, right? So the way it kind of works, like let's say if the policy itself were like a wrapper, let's kind of unwrap it a little bit to kind of see what's going on, okay? As you pay money into your policy, it's almost like paying money towards a mortgage, right? You know, as you pay your mortgage down, what are you creating in your house? Equity, right? That equity can be tapped into at any time, you know, for, you know, business purposes, for your kids' college, to, you know, maybe pay bills or make upgrades to the house, right? Just those things. So we're taking that same concept, but we're applying it to a life insurance policy. And a couple of reasons why we want to do it inside of a life insurance policy. Biggest reason is the tax advantages, right? Life insurance is one of the only tax advantage accounts that exists in the United States tax code, right? A couple other things are the living benefits, right? Just working in the financial services space, I know the number one destroyer of most people's finances are medical bills, right? I've seen people had to basically liquidate their 401ks to cover cancer treatment and things like that, right? And that's basically financial suicide, you know? So insurance has benefits that kick in should somebody get sick, somebody get disabled, so they don't have to ever use their own money. They're using the insurance company's money, right? And so, yeah, we use this strategy. It was developed in Silicon Valley, not by me, but by the smarter people at Thrive. One in particular by the name of Tony Chain. And, you know, he's been a licensed advisor for about 15 years now. And this is a strategy he had been doing with his own policies itself. But there weren't products around at that time to where someone could take advantage of this system like right away. Typically, when somebody has an insurance policy and they use this method, you know, they have to wait 2, 3, 4 years in order to build up cash value to be able to borrow it that way. But we have policies that are available today to where somebody can do this within 30 days of setting up a policy. So it's been, you know, very, very powerful for the people who've been able to take advantage of it these last few years.
So who can take advantage of this? Like anybody can take advantage of this in terms of, it doesn't matter like your level of wealth or, you know, maybe break that down and explain that to us.
Anybody can take advantage of it if they are able to save money, right? Now, insurance is no different than any other account or investment that you have that you're trying to make money. You got to put more money in, right? You have to put more money in. You got to be able to save some, right? So as long as somebody is healthy, as long as someone can save some money, then this could work for them. Because if you think about it, how much more money would you have if you're able to turn an average of 3% on all your expenses, right? Most people can only save about 10% of their income, but you make 100% of your money, right? But you keep 10. So if you had a strategy where you could basically take 100% of your income and save it, and how much more better off will we be in the long run?
What problem does Flip solve for everyday people?
Number one, securing financial freedom, right? Securing financial freedom, right? We all work, you know, we were all kind of told, you know, go to school, get a good job so you can, you know, make a lot of money and you can retire and repeat the process for your kids, right? But if you think about how retirement is currently, I would say sold. Yeah, I'm going to use sold. I don't like using the word sold, but it basically is sold because they kind of just give you a 401k when you sign up for your job, right? You just, and I don't, and I'm not down talking 401ks. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just more so no one really gives you any type of advice. It's more like, hey, sign this and we're going to match you 3% or 5% or whatever. And that's pretty much all the investment advice the average American gets, right? In terms of solving the biggest problem that most people have, let's go back to something I said a second ago. You make 100% of your money, but you're lucky if you save 10 for your future, right? What this policy does is effectively allow someone to save 100% of their entire income. So imagine you make $100,000 a year and you save 10,000, right? Well, would you rather make a big amount of interest on a small amount of money, being at 10,000, or would you rather make a smaller amount of interest on a big amount of money, being 100,000, right? So if you run the numbers, right, if you even got 10% interest on $10,000 of savings, that's only $1,000. But if you can get 3% on 100,000, now that's 3,000. We just tripled your investment by basically restructuring how you flow your money, right? So most people's money only flows in one direction. You know, they make it, it goes into their bank account, and then they pay their bills. Then they'll save and invest whatever's left over. Our design is, all right, you make your income, that money's gonna still go into your bank account, but before it goes out to pay your bills, you're gonna pay it into, I do what we call pay ourselves first. Pay your life insurance, because you're your number one asset, right? If you think about it. And we use life insurance as an asset. So we take all that money, pay it in our policy, and then we take a loan against our money to pay our bills, right? And some people say, that sounds crazy. Why would I take a loan to pay my bills? So what if I told you that, number one, you never have to pay it off. And number two, don't worry about the interest, because the money that you're getting paid for saving, right, when you pay your insurance policy, is actually going to be paying you more than what the interest on your loan is costing. So if you got money earning 7% on average and you're borrowing at an average cost of 4%, you're always in the positive. And if you never have to pay this loan back, now it becomes a situation where, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that I can take all of my money that I'm going to make from now until the day I die, save it in an environment that's going to grow tax-free, tax-deferred. If I get sick, it's going to pay me. If I get disabled, it's going to pay me. And if I die, it's going to pay my family. And I'm funding this with money that I'm going to spend on my bills anyway. It's a no-brainer. Like at that point.
Let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship for a minute. This is one of my favorite topics. What's the biggest push or driver that made you take the leap into entrepreneurship?
I just wanted better outcomes for me personally and for my family as well, right? I feel like as men, we are the captains of the ship. You know, now I know, you know, some women are captains of the ship at their house, but for the most part, I think that most men, you know, who get married, have children, have a responsibility and a personal pride to be able to take care of their family, take care of their, you know, wife, and, you know, put food on the table, be able to take their kids on vacations. And when I was working at my regular job, and I don't hate saying regular job because, you know, jobs are jobs. But anyway, you know, it's a means to an end. Just I wasn't living the type of lifestyle that I had imagined living as a kid growing up, because I wanted to be a professional athlete, football to be more specific. And you know, I look up one day and I'm like 28 years old and I'm working at my regular job. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did I get here? I'm knocking on 30. So that's why I was kind of waking up at that point, like, damn, I'm almost 30. And it seemed like the time from 21 till now has just flown by. Where did the time go? I'm not driving what I want to drive. I'm not living where I want to live. I'm not doing anything that I want to do. I'm literally just, you know, going to job, living check to check, you know, living for the weekends for football and sports, and, you know, to get away from, I guess, real life. And I said, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. So I have to make some different decisions. And I had never in my life thought that I would be selling life insurance for a living, right? Because I'm not even a good salesman at that, to be honest. True story, before I got into insurance, my regular job, I worked for AT&T, and I worked in a corporate retail store. And the only reason why I took that job was because I wanted to work in HR, because I knew that I like helping people and like teaching and training people. That's kind of like my role. Hey, somebody's new who's hired, let me show them around and, show them, how things work, et cetera. And it just seemed like an easy job, HR, they don't do a lot. And I wanted a job where I didn't have to do a lot. Yeah, but one of those prerequisites to working in HR was actually to work on the sales floor for at least a period of a year, before they would promote you. So I'm on the sales floor, I'm at the bottom of 30 reps. I'm talking about the bottom 5 every month of 30 reps because I'm just not comfortable in I feel like a sales role where, I gotta, push products and stuff. So,
yeah.
But then come to find out a year later, I'm selling life insurance and I had to go door to door, cold call, basically all the things that I said I would never do. I had to do those things. And throughout that process, it built a character, and a confidence in myself to say, you know what, man, Brandon, you really can't do anything that you want to do. All you got to do is commit to it and, be focused and work hard and develop your skills. And, you really can, go anywhere from there. And so that's really how I got into the entrepreneur space. It was just, getting fed up with how things were going and wanting better. And, the guy who
wanted to quit the regular job.
Wanted to quit the regular job. Sure did. I was getting regular results. The regular job gave me regular results. So, and I don't feel like I'm regular anymore.
What was your biggest fear when starting your own business? And how did you overcome that fear?
Fear number 1 was not making any money. That wasn't just my fear. That was my wife's fear too. Because she was like, wait a minute, you gonna quit your job to go sell insurance? Thought I was crazy. And I thought I was crazy for a few years too, because I didn't make any money. But now that we're past that, we're making more than enough money and everything. But that was really the initial fear was, first of all, I'm not a good salesman. My track record at AT&T showed that, right? Second thing, I quit my job to go sell something. So already in my head, I got 2 things working against me, right? And number 3, there's no guarantee that I'm gonna make any money, right? Those are like three big hurdles that I had to overcome. And if it wasn't for my mentor at that time, who was in the insurance space, then I wouldn't have been able to get through. What was good about my mentor was that we were actually the same age, but he had been in the insurance industry for about 2 or 3 years. He was driving a Tesla, so he was making some pretty good money. And this is before Tesla was what it is now, And being able to spend time with him, hearing his story, gave me enough motivation to know that I could do it myself. I just had to, stick it out, weather the storm, just go through all the ups and the downs. And I don't know if I would still be in this industry today if it wasn't for my man Vic.
Previously worked as a counselor too, so I love the education component. I mean, obviously you're educating people on what you do and what you're passionate about now. So what advice would you say to other young African American men and women who are considering starting their own business right now?
Well, actually, what I would tell them is that they will never be successful or make more money than they believe that they can make. So the first work that you got to do is work on your own personal attitude before you go out and try to change it. Well, you can do it simultaneously, but just know that as your personal attitude gets better, as you grow as a person, then your income will grow, right? And if your income stops, then that just means you need to grow a little bit more so that your income can grow and you can serve more people, because that's what it's all about, serving more people. In order to serve more, you have to become more. It's that simple. You can't give what you ain't got.
Wise words.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit. Let's dig into the trenches a little bit about managing a business, right? Because there's a lot that goes into managing a small business. You got marketing, sales, managing clients, sending contracts, communicating, following up with prospects. Like, how has Keap and the automation agency helped you to kind of contain the chaos of managing a small business?
I would say the automation, right? And it's funny, I remember a point in my business where I wasn't busy, I could keep track of everything. I literally had a piece of paper that I would every night before bed, I just write down what I needed to do the next day, maybe 5 tasks, maybe 10 at the max. And I would fill up my whole day. And I have downtime, but once I started growing, the business started growing, more people started reaching out, tasks and things started getting left behind. There were too many tasks to put on a piece of paper. And I knew then that I was in trouble. And I needed to be able to either hire somebody or develop a system that can do the repetitive tasks, the things that I don't like doing. And you ever heard of this rule called the 80-20 rule?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a believer in that. I always knew that was the case, but in my opinion, I think it shows up in everything. And so as business owners, we have to focus on the 20% that we're good at, and then outsource the 80% and let everybody else do that part. And that was very difficult for me at first because I built the business by myself. There wasn't anybody, it was just me. I'm sure you probably connect with this, Jason, a little bit. When it's just you do things a certain way, it's kind of hard to let go of the reins a little bit and trust other people with your business and your brand, because they now are a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? And so what the automation agency has done for me and what Keap has done for me is give me a system that I want to imitate. Like the way you guys work with me, Jason, I was like, man, if I could take my clients through the same system, or the same, system would be the right word. Maybe not the same, but like that process. I love your guys' process. It's everything that I want in my business, to where we're working as a team, right? But then I can just kind of be hands off and just step in when I need to step in and just help our team members, get the job done for our clients, right? And so as I'm sitting there going through your process, I'm just getting more and more excited about what our system is going to look like once it's like ultimately finished. And I know it's just really getting started, and we're probably going to be adding on pieces and making adjustments, throughout the years. But it's been awesome so far, and I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely saving some time already, because there's got to be something.
I was going to ask you, because I think that there's a definite correlation between productivity and work-life balance. So obviously managing a business can be stressful. So what do you do to really kind of make sure that you're mentally fit as well as physically fit?
Yeah. So in the mornings, I try to control my mornings the best as I can. Now, when I say best as I can, I got a 3.5-year-old who's going on 20 at my house, and I got a 1-year-old or 18-month-old. So, and they wake up when the sun gets up. I'm talking 6:30, 6 o'clock, they're up, right? I try to beat them up. It rarely happens, but luckily, my wife, she's great. She's normally with the kids in the morning, so that gives me some time to just kind of get ready for my day. So what I'll do is I'll have a notebook with affirmations, and I'll read my affirmations. I also will just, read a chapter out of whatever book I read. At this moment, I'm reading The Laws of Success. That's one of my favorite books. Literally
Nice.
been reading that book for about 3-4. I would say I'm studying that book because it's a big book, and I've been reading it for 4 years. But every time I read some in it, I get different inspiration from it.
Who's the author of that?
Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah.
That book. Okay. This is the long version.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much how my morning start. Oh, and coffee. Gotta have coffee, because I'm not a morning person. I'm gonna just be real on that.
I hear you.
Gotta get some coffee. Don't talk to me in the morning unless I've had some coffee.
My wife used to have a cup like that. She's the same way. It's funny, man. You've got to get that kick of caffeine in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I want to be mindful of time. I got quite a few questions I want to kind of get through here.
Okay.
So dive back over to the automation side of things, because I want other business owners to really understand the power and the leverage that they have with something like this. So how has some of the marketing automation that you've set up, and I know we're right in the midst of launching a campaign for you, a massive campaign that's going to automate a lot of your business, but how has the little bit of automation that you've implemented in your business so far changed the way you think about your processes and managing your business?
Yeah. So in the mornings, I try to control my mornings the best as I can. Now, when I say best as I can, I got a 3.5-year-old who's going on 20 at my house, and I got a 1-year-old or 18-month-old. So, and they wake up when the sun gets up. I'm talking 6:30, 6 o'clock, they're up. And then I will just I would say the automated, let's say, text messages and emails that go out after a client, like after I met with a client and even before I met with a client, have saved me a ton of time. I find out like now I don't have to think about following up with people. I just know it's going to be done, right? I also, which saves me time, right? I also know that if for whatever reason a client isn't ready for the next step and they haven't kind of moved on to the next step, that also saves me time because it means they're not ready yet. They're just not at the point to where they want to move forward. But I don't necessarily have to take time out of my day to follow up with those people manually, or even someone on our team doesn't have to take time to follow up with them. They can focus on the clients that we currently have and the people who are going through the process, right? So it really helps us filter out, the people who are ready to move forward and from the people who aren't, even for, because we're bringing on agents now, and it looks like we're going to be able to plug and play our agents inside of this system to where it's basically going to function like their own system, going to have their own branded emails and names and things like that, I think, which will be amazing for them. So as they continue to grow and develop, maybe they take my system and go start their own agency and start training and develop other agents. That would be awesome if they did that.
What are some of the obstacles that the automation agency and Keap have helped you to overcome since starting that? Obviously, you mentioned time saving is a big one. What's maybe another one that's at the top of your list?
Keeping track of business, the sales process, because every business owner knows there's different stages, before they get paid, right? And it typically, in our business, I'll help you, it goes first meeting, then it goes research and development. That's on the clients, right? Then we have to apply. And after they apply, then we have to design and consult again. And after we design and consult, we have to fund. And after we fund, we have to onboard. So all these problems, and then and remember I said I had a piece of paper and I would just write down every day what needed to be done. I lost track of so many. I'm wondering how much money I left on the table because I didn't even follow up with some clients because we just didn't have the bandwidth to be able to do it, right? That's what I'm most excited about, is being able to track business as it moves through the pipeline. Something else I've heard like successful CEOs, entrepreneurs do is they're able to track their numbers and track their business. So they can always make those tweaks because they have the data, and with the system and the pipeline, being able to track business as it moves through, I'm very excited to see what type of feedback I can get from that to make adjustments to improve our system, improve our processes, and expand and grow the business even more.
And I know that when we went through and did that flow chart and funnel diagram process, it really opened up and visualized and helped you to see and understand your existing process. Because I think that's a lot of times what businesses recognize too, is they're trying to do things on their own. Like you said, you grew the business, so now you got to take that information and that knowledge and put it into a visual line of sight for your team members to understand and know the process. So maybe speak to that for just a second.
Yeah, that was amazing, man. I feel like this is the best money I've ever invested. The best money I've ever invested, because I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I'm naturally not a very structured person. I'm more of a creative, to where I just kind of just do stuff, and then I look back and see what do we keep, what do we get rid of. You know what I mean? I just kind of do it that way. But when you guys were able to sit me down and ask me all these questions about my processes, questions that I didn't even really know should be asked, you asked, and it basically, you were able to take that information and plug it into that flow chart. And when I saw the flow chart, I was just so impressed. I was showing everybody, like, I got another partner who's going to experiment with the system. And I showed him the chart. He said, man, that is elite. Just the start to finish. And I'm trying to walk him through the journey of how all this stuff is going to work on the back end. He's like, man, can they do something like that for me? Like, yeah, I think they can probably just do this one for you. If you want.
100%. You say yes all the time to that question.
Yeah, I will, for sure. But just seeing it, like, it felt like a weight had been lifted off of me, because Anthony, my partner Anthony, him and I had sat down, and he was, I would say, the second person who started working with me, and him and I used to be in my garage trying to write down processes, and we knew we needed automation. We just didn't know where to begin with how to set it up, because we ain't got the time to do that, and we, don't necessarily know what all is available out there. And what I experienced with you guys is just your level of knowledge. I just knew it was going to be good just because of how I came into contact with you. I knew you guys were going to be just great, just from meeting with Dawn and her teaching us the how to do simple automations to, all right, this is going to take more time than we care to invest to do all of our automations. What's the next step? Can we get on a call with somebody who can do these for us? And from everything start to finish was outstanding.
I love it. I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing that feedback. It's people like you that have been through our process, and you see and understand what we've done. You see the value of it. Like, that was an amazing testimonial, and I want others to hear and see that and feel that too, because that's why my wife and I started this agency, is we want to give people like you, business owners and entrepreneurs, the opportunity to understand they've got amazing strategies and mindsets, but a lot of times it's in their head and it's not visually mapped out. And that's where our strength is helping them to take that, map it out, and then build the automation and systemization around it. And that's what's powerful, right? That's how you can start to scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I'm nervous. I don't know if it's excitement or nervousness, because we like I said, we shut down our whole business basically for like the past couple months while we've been mapping this stuff out. And once we launch it and start, let's say, actually advertise, because we weren't even advertising before, now we're going to actually advertise.
Yep.
I'm just thinking there's going to be so many clients that reach out that we might have to get more agents. Absolutely. Which is a problem to have, but it's another problem that I got to fix.
That is an opportunity to align, right? Not a problem, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Words are powerful, Jason. You're right.
Yes.
It's an opportunity.
Yes. We don't want to look at it as a problem. We want to look at it as a solution and an opportunity for us to empower others with your amazing flip method, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So what would you tell someone else who's considering signing up with Keap or the automation agency? Like, what recommendations would you have for them?
What I would say is just do it. And for me, I go off of feelings and energy, right? If you're somebody listening to this, you found Keap for a reason. You found an automation agency for a reason. You found Keap for a reason. If it feels right, just do it. So, and I know a lot of people haven't had experience in automation, and they're wondering if, trusting somebody, and that's a big word, trusting somebody with the investment that it takes to come in and really streamline your business is worth it. And I'm going to say it's worth it. You will sleep better at night knowing that you have somebody working in your business, on your business, to help you reach the goals that you're looking to reach, like that. And if it don't feel right, then don't do it. But I'm gonna say it again. If you found automation agency and you found Keap, then most likely you wouldn't have got this far, right? So keep it moving and do what feels right.
Let's tell everybody, how can they get in touch with you? Because we're about to turn the faucet back on in your business. We're about to open it up to bring in more people so you can help serve more people. So tell us, one, where can they learn more about you on your website, your social handles, that sort of thing?
Right. So how you can learn more. So you can check me out on YouTube. There's not a lot of content on there. There's some old school stuff on there, but I like for people to look at the old stuff, because that shows you the progression of where I went from to where I am now in such a short amount of time. Right. You have Instagram. You can find me at Brandon Anthony Clark. You can find me on TikTok at Brandon Anthony Clark. And then you could also go to the website, BrandonAnthonyClark.com/flip. Right. And if you want to learn more about Flip, all the resources on all of those social media profiles, as well as that website, will tell you everything you need to know, not just about Flip, but about life insurance in general and how you can use that in your financial plan.